So the Lakers actually hired JJ Redick. I couldn't believe they actually did that. I was like, that was so the guy who said he was so devoted to doing commentary for the NBA finals, he wouldn't talk about it during the broadcast, would have made it more entertaining. Him he is now gonna be coaching his podcasting buddy LeBron James. This is gonna be a circus, man. And Paul Pierce said it a week ago, and I don't quote Paul Pierce a lot because I don't agree with a lot of stuff he says, but he was right. The Lakers right now are acting like the Dallas Cowboys, the modern Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys, they care more about TV ratings and selling tickets and merch, and it's more business. Because I don't see how you have championship aspirations with a move like this. This is a first-time head coach. I don't think he's coached on any level. High school, college, nothing. Role player, career role player. It's crazy. I was watching Clip, the new show with Ed O'Neill and Lawrence Fishburne, and in the first episode, they were making it seem like JJ Redick was like the biggest free agent of all time. But nonetheless, JJ Redick has got this job. And you talking about privilege, right? Is this white privilege or is this LeBron privilege and just being buddies with LeBron and doing their podcast that they do weekly that they started some point during this season? Because, I mean, if that was the case, they were better off just keeping Darvin Ham. Really, he's back with the Bucks and Doc Rivers and all of that now. There was a lot of other options, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, does anybody not want that Lakers job? I mean, it came down to JJ Redick and the Dan Harley dude, and he stood them up at the altar and went back to college. Never left really, but you get what I mean. I'm like, so hold up, Monty Williams, who just got fired in Detroit, right? The miserable Detroit Pistons ran into the ground. I wouldn't blame that on Monty, but they were arguably the worst team in basketball. I think at one point they lost like 28 straight games. They were awful. First, they made it seem like they were going to keep him. And look, the season was over since April for most teams, unless you got all the way to the finals. Season was over. They fired him the other day. He was an option. You know what I mean? Monty Williams took that Phoenix team to the NBA Finals a few years ago. You couldn't have gave him a chance. You couldn't have, these are just, you can hire who you want. I'm just naming out coaches. You got Mark Jackson out there still. 10 years removed, and we all know he helped put together that Warriors team that became a dynasty. He's out here doing a podcast now. He should be coaching. Maybe he just doesn't want to do it at this point. Maybe the man's heartbroken by the league, the way that they blackmailed him out of basketball. But when it says a lot about the NBA and the power of LeBron, really. Because this is a LeBron move. This right here lets you know LeBron's not going anywhere. I'm just surprised that the Lakers are letting him still have this kind of power at 40 years old. I mean, he's going to be 40. And between this and possibly the Bronny move, I'm like, yeah, they're not trying to win right now. They're just trying to sell tickets. And that's the reality Lakers fans got to just accept. This is not a championship caliber move right here. I don't see it. I don't see JJ Redick has always been player friendly, especially since he's become a media member. He'll always take up for the players, even if they dead wrong. Remember last year he was justifying Ja Morant with the whole gun thing and making it seem like it was all good. And y'all just, we shouldn't be punishing him for this. He shouldn't be suspended. It was like, yo, what? Like, what are you talking about? He was sticking his neck out for Ja. I just don't think that pushover, passive aggressive attitude, that's not gonna work with today's players and their attitudes. Yeah, I already think they the shit. They make way more money than most of these coaches, a lot of them. Then you got the whole social media factor. They think they're bigger stars than some of them even are. I don't see how JJ Redick is going to be able to come into that locker room. And look, the Lakers, they still got moves to make because right now they're not even a top 5 team in the West, and you're bringing him in as a first-time head coach. Like, this is going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be a circus, but we all know how this is going to end. Like, right? He might get fired 30 or 40 games into the season. Right, probably about Christmas or after that, cold world, and then they'll move on and probably bring in the interim. But yeah, this is crazy, man. It's a wasted spot because there's veteran coaches out there. I don't know. Hell, Mike Brown, they rumored that he might have got fired from Sacramento. He took that team to the playoffs last year. It's like The NBA is the blackest league in all the sports, but in most of the coaches, a good amount of them are black. But it's like a lot of black coaches in the NBA don't tend to get as many chances as some of these other guys. But this is a lot for JJ Redick. I mean, this is a hell of a resume. You never coached a day in your life. Now you're coaching the Lakers. First job? Who could say that? You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. I mean, Jerry West for a minute was coaching the Lakers back in the day, but it was a short stint, and he was a legend. You know what I mean? It kind of made some sense. But this is different, man. Let me know what y'all think. I know some Laker fans watch this. Y'all feeling this? Do y'all think this is going to turn it around? Do y'all think this is going to be I'm surprised they actually did this. When I kept seeing these rumors, I'm thinking, no way they're going to do this. This is just to get people talking. But it seems like JJ was the backup plan when they couldn't get the Hurley guy. They couldn't get Dan Hurley, so they said, okay, let's settle for JJ. I'm like, man, there was a lot of other options out here other than damn JJ Redick. But hey, you live and you learn. Will he make it past Christmas? That's the question. Because if you don't, man, the Lakers, let's say the Lakers are 10 games below 500, and they're like the 8th seed in the West, so probably on the outskirts looking out. Yeah, they might pull the plug.